I'm going to share some ideas on how to build trust with your people. Now, we all know the power of having trusted relationships at work. We're so much more likely to deliver our best work for those leaders that we've got trust with and that understand us. But where do we start with trust? Now, one of the tools that really helped me that I discovered about 5 years ago was the trust equation. And there's more detail in the Trusted Advisor book by Charles Green, David Maister and Robert Goulford. It helped me to demystify the question of what is trust? How do we crystallise it? And then how do we know how to build it and maintain it? Until this point, I've been relying on gut feel, just testing things out and hoping that they were working with my people. The trust equation gives us more than that. It gives us 3 components that make up trustworthiness. The first is credibility. Now, credibility is where we feel and believe that people are telling the truth about their level of competency, that they're not exaggerating their competence or the scope of control. It's very much judged on what we say. The next is reliability. And reliability is all about having a track record of meeting our commitments and promises to another. But it's also about consistency and how we show up as an individual. Do people know what we're going to get from us? Lastly, we've got intimacy, and this is about emotional security when dealing with us. Do people feel safe in sharing things, and have we got empathy? There's something that takes away or detracts from trustworthiness, and that is self-orientation. And that's the extent to which we come across as being in it for ourselves. Are we selfish in our motives? Or are we self-obsessed and actually it's all about us rather than the other person? Now, no matter how well we do at being credible, reliable and intimate in our relationships, if we're doing this from a place of self-interest or self-obsession, our ability to build trust is depleted significantly. So let me share some ideas for you to build each of these areas that build up trustworthiness. The first, credibility. Be honest with yourself and to others. Don't overinflate things. Be open about your strengths, but also don't worry too much about sharing the areas that you maybe need to develop. It's probably likely your team will already have picked those up anyway. Second is reliability. Don't overpromise and underdeliver. Keep to your commitments. If things change and you can't keep a commitment, make sure you're upfront about this as soon as you can. No one wants to be known as that manager that books in a one-to-one every month or every week only for it to be cancelled or the time squeezed because there's something more important that's come up. That's certainly the perspective that it might give to your team member. The second part of reliability is being aware of your temperament. So making sure that your behaviour is consistent and people know what they're going to get from you, so they feel open to share things and they know what they're going to receive from you. Lastly, we've got intimacy. And this is all about being that type of person that you can share things with and your people know that you're going to use it appropriately and not against them. That you take the time to understand them. You take that time out to build a relationship that's more than just getting stuff done. It's about understanding one another as individuals. Above all, we need to think about how we're coming across. Are we coming across as someone that is all about them and we're self-obsessed? Or are we having these conversations or interactions in our own self-interest? If people pick this up, then that will significantly deplete your levels of trust. So a couple of good questions to ask yourself as you're leading into, what place am I coming from? How am I going to make this more about them than of me? And sometimes, because we're in such a rush, we just dive into things and we might be distracted, and that might mean that it comes across as us being self-interested when actually we've just got lots of things going on. But just checking in and clearing that before we get into our conversations with our people can be really helpful. I hope that was useful, and good luck in building and maintaining trust with your people.